What do you guys think is the Cybertruck? So what is each of your prediction on when is the Cybertruck going to be delivery date? So some people are saying September, some people still think it's going to be the fourth quarter. Everything I'm seeing looks like it's on track, if not even ahead of time. But yeah, that's a little but I think September. What are you guys thinking?
Jeff, go first.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think September makes sense in terms of a delivery event. I think that, like I said, I think you have to split up the ramp in many phases. But I think the electrical supply base has started. I think they're building battery. I think a bunch of different things have started. The 48-volt architecture, all that stuff is ramping at this point. The inbound mechanical supply chain is ramping. I believe they're finishing out, portions of the line. I think they're doing time-based trials. They're working on yields. They're working on UPH, which is velocity through each station in the factory. So they're working on production readiness. And I think they could start as early as next month, if not, August. We may or may not know. Maybe someone will see something or be tipped off. But it's definitely close. And how do you know it's close? We've talked about this for 2 years or more.
But we also saw the production line. He walked the production line 2 months ago. So it's like,
well, it doesn't mean it's done.
Real.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's done. But yeah, he walked through a production operation. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, what we talked about, at least for the last year, is that when you start seeing more of them out in testing and more of them out in the wild, they're very close. And if you look at the fit and finish on the one that was at the Peterson Museum that was being driven off by Franz, I mean, that looked, it looked really good from a fit and finish perspective. So you can tell it's getting closer. You're seeing them in testing in different countries. You're seeing all these different things that they have to go through, and you see them out in the wild. That's the main engineering hub in Northern California doing all the software. So yeah, you're definitely getting, when you see that happening, you're close.
We got a question for you, Jeff. Yeah, we got a question for you, Jeff. So in January, when the world was crashing, and you were saying at that point that the Cybertruck, you called it recession buster, and I latched onto your term. Yeah, I kept asking you, what do you mean by recession buster, recession? And what you said was that if there is a massive recession or any kind of recession, the Cybertruck will still sail at the numbers that we're expecting it to sell. Now,
100%.
We recognize that there's going to be small numbers this year. It's going to be larger numbers next year. It's just a slow ramp up. But what happens, Jeff, when there is no recession? If there is a soft, which we'll get to shortly here, talking about the macro. If the recession has been canceled because it's too low.
2024 late.
What do you think, Jeff?
If there's no recession, this is where the Tesla management team has to be thinking. I think they've publicly put a range of 250 to 500K annualized capacity. They've got to look at I'm sure they look at inbound order rate every day. I'm sure they look at any cancellation rates. Because I think that cancellation rate would be a good trigger, if with monetary policy or people just saying, hey, I don't need this right now. So I think they're looking at all those factors, and I think they'll make a decision. I think they're bullish on the product. You heard how Elon speaks about the product. He says it's the best product Tesla's ever made. He's basically said that. And when you have somebody with kind of his judgment saying that about a product, we don't even know the specs yet. We don't know how this thing is going to perform. We just know that they've been working on it for a very long time. They're probably, battery constrained, so they can work on it longer, solve more problems, see the F-150 launch, see the Rivian launch, see the specs on those things and say, we're not going to be out-spec'd by anything. So yeah, they're going to be looking at their capacity and making a judgment decision. But I think, with or without a recession, this product is sold out for years. You won't see one in inventory for years. I just don't think analysts actually understand that. Like, if you haven't ordered this product, you're not gonna just be able to walk in and get one for years.
You're muted, Herbert.
You also were saying that you think that they were sandbagging that number, right?
In terms of their production capacity?
Production, the number that they're claiming that they're going to make in this year, 2023.
No, I don't. I mean, I think they've signaled a few thousand. I'm aligned with the few thousand. Um, so I think those are reasonable expectations. I think they're going to start this production line. They're going to get it to rated speed. They're going to find some problems. They're going to pause. They're going to fix problems. So, and I also think it's better for them from a quality perspective to get a few thousand out there and get some early feedback from consumers before they go, go vertical on it. So yeah, I think there'll be a light, 2023, and I think 2024, they'll speed up. And I think probably in about a year, they'll get to the kind of their current plan peak run rate, and then decide from there where they want to go. Remember, Model Y started in 2020. I think in the second quarter, so they built 16,000 Model Ys, and now they're going to build close to 300,000 Model Ys. So, they're going to expand capacity over time.
Jeff, do you think the ramp has a chance to be like we've never seen because of the new style and of the design?
I think they've taken great lengths to simplify the product, and to do things that over time, like this will probably run really quickly through the factory. It'll probably have higher yielding as well, but it's also a more complex product. If they've water sealed certain chambers of the product, these are things that require a lot of precision from a tolerance perspective, and it requires some additional testing in the factory. So I think in terms of the base automobile, I think they've taken great lengths to simplify the manufacturing process, cut down on the part count. But I think there's going to be extra features in this things that we haven't thought of, especially, you have the rear steering, you have other things that have been added to this product. You've got the tonneau in the back and the power aspect.
That works.
There's other things. Yeah, there's other things that they've got to test and deal with. So the base automobile, simpler to build, lower part count. But this thing's going to be, I think, is going to have some fairly exciting features that they'll have to account for.
Take a look at this, guys. Yeah, this is so. Yeah, today, lots of companies are coming out with all these different wraps. Mm-hmm. What color are you guys going to do yours? Look at this. Gorgeous.
That was supposed to be our business. We were supposed to be doing that. Xander, did we assign you to make that happen?
That's Jeff. I already started the LLC, but Jeff's been dragging his feet.
You guys were going to start a company for wrapping, and you didn't ask me to join that company?
It's of course, it's the Cyber Bulls Capital /wraps.
I wasn't even consulted. I'm the CEO, first of all. Let's make that clear.
You're always recording videos, and we are in the back channel chatting with each other, so you just missed it.
Yeah, you can comment all you want on it, Herbert, but no,
let's
actually,
be clear.
I think...
Who's the alpha? Who's the alpha? Okay, I think we all agree it's Alexander, right?
Christian. I mean,
yeah, she would be the CEO, actually.
I'm the CEO. I'm gonna
she gets things done. She gets things done.
Yeah, Elon companies are always women-led, right? So
she's very successful. But I'm the visionary. No,
you could be head of product. You could be head of product. I could be, could be COO for operations.
Yeah,
I'm the CFO.
You're the CFO.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'll work out somehow.
Okay, but isn't it amazing? I mean, all these accessories, and this is just going to make this thing go crazy. Not only is it beautiful and it's so performance, but all the accessories is going to just take it that one notch higher.
It'll be a highly accessorized product. I think it'll be the most highly accessorized automobile maybe that we've seen. Certainly the most highly accessorized Tesla. And yeah, there's going to be some tech involved, and there's going to be some new companies. And if you look at the attach rate, again, if you build something for the Model Y and you get a design award if you're a supplier to Tesla on the Model Y and you get a design award, you're going to be at over 1 million units a year already, and that's gold. There's no other model like that. So
yeah, I wanted to add something earlier, but you were speaking, Herbert. You know what tripped me out was seeing 2 Cybertrucks on that flatbed being transported. That's like the first time we've seen 2 of them next to each other, and that just blew me away. Can you imagine seeing, like, right now we see all these Teslas on an intersection in California where there's multiples of them. What happens when we see these things actually on the road? We were saying that the order rate and how many units they can sell. It's just it's a wild product.
It's going to be a shocker because this has been years in the making. There's a lot of people thought we'd never see it. So when we actually start producing it, I think the realization will be the delivery event. And I think Elon said sometime late Q3 he's hoping to have it. So, we'll see when it is. But at some point this year, they're going to hand over to consumers, right? And they're going to be driving off, and it's going to be a wild moment to see these things, pulling up next to people and people that have no idea what it is. Like, what is that? Like, you're going to get a lot of YouTube moments. You're going to get a lot of publicity that way. So it is going to be, and you guys have talked about it, but it is going to be a big deal. So let's see the demand. I think the demand initially, there's so many people. I think it was up to what? How many reservations? Over
1.5
million and a half? I don't know. Yeah, how many convert? So so you got demand probably for a year or two.
1.85 million, according to Sawyer.
So even if you get 10% conversion of that, I mean, just to be, you got a couple of years of sale. No, even if you just got that, you got a couple of years of runway, right? Am I thinking about that, Jeff? Mm-hmm. Right?
Correct.
Not the 10% conversion rate, but
no. Even if you did, what's 10% of 1.8? That's 180,000.
He's our CFO.
180,000 in the next 2 years.
I just say if you started a 10% conversion rate on an order book, you've got a product problem.
I just picked the number out of my head. How many?
That's the wrong number.
Okay, well, hold on. How many CyberTrucks can they make max in the next 2 years?
Right. I think in 2 years, I think the first year, you're probably going to get first calendar year, September to September, maybe upwards of 100,000 if they've got the thing rolling, and then it'll depend what set point they set their capacity to. They set it to 250, they'll probably do 200 to 250 the following year. If they set it to 500K, well, then they can probably do a lot more. Yeah. So, but that's why I think that the wait list that's why I think from an inventory.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I just think 10%. I think that it'll convert higher. I just was trying to give me a number that's a couple 100,000. So they got a couple of years of demand without any worries, essentially. That's what the point was.
You know what's really, really crazy is that the CyberTruck is actually going to be a smaller product line for Tesla. Some people think that there's going to be more Cybertrucks, or it could rival the Model Y.
If that might be true, that is a game changer.
What?
Again. If Cybertruck outsells Model Y?
You're too bullish now. Whoa, calm down there, buddy.
That's not being expected. No, Wall Street does not expect Cybertruck to be anything like that. They're thinking it's like a niche product.
Well, this could be a regional thing. It's going to be a regional thing. In North America, pickup trucks outsell.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. Yeah. So they outsell SUVs or crossovers?
Well, actually, if you go to the numbers, I think from the first 4 months of registration in the U.S., I think the F-150 was double the Model Y. Again, this is a U.S., so this is a U.S. thing.
In the U.S.
Yeah, it's more of a U.S. thing. But yeah, so in the U.S. it may do it.
Yeah. Do you think, Jeff, can they beat at some point in the next 5 years that they could outsell the F-150? Is that possible?
Oh, 5 years.
Possible. Is it likely?
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's possible. I think it's going to come down to the utility and the acceptance of the product. Like if it's super high quality, super high utility, there's a big surprise on specs, then it will. But if it's kind of comparable on specs to the F-150, and then you're gonna have people like, oh, I just want my traditional looking truck. I like an EV, but I kind of want my traditional looking truck. Well, you're gonna have those people that continue to buy that. But if the specs are so much better, I still think you're gonna have people that are kind of polarized by how the product looks. So I think it's gonna come down to that. But remember, when the Cybertruck's selling, that F-150 is not going to be at its same numbers. Those F-150 numbers are going to come down.
Yeah. Jeff, do you think it goes to the looks, or is it the utility, like the towing range, and are those the people that we're talking about?
It depends. It depends on the person. Herbert's an expert in studying kind of like user preference and categorizing product. All I'll say is, in my opinion, if something to me was much higher utility, I would get over it. If I didn't like exactly how it looked, I'd get over it. I would be more on the utility and spec side. But there's some people that are just, I know people that bought a Jaguar EV just because of like how it looked. It does nothing. It's got horrible range. It's got horrible performance, and they just did a recall on it. And they like, oh, I think it looks better than a model. But you have people like that. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember, Jaguar, the segment for that,
like the Porsche Taycan. I love the Porsche
segment
Taycan.
for the Jaguar.
Yeah.
Are people who want to look and feel rich, right? That's the purpose of a Jaguar, not for performance, not for, it's basically luxury and feeling like I'm rich. And I want other people to think I'm rich.
You want to feel rich, buy Tesla stock.
Yeah. but a perfect example is like
not
the Porsche Taycan. That's why I'm not worried about like it's a great car, but it's expensive. Like if you're buying that, you're buying it for the look. Some people do buy a car for the looks. Yeah. They do. Like, and if they don't like the Cybertruck look, you could spec them out and nerd them out with all that stuff. They ain't buying it. They look at it, it's off. It's done.
I agree with that.
I agree with what Herbert's, what you're saying, Jeff, because I know a lot of people, I'm kind of like that. If I don't like the look of the car, I don't care what you're telling me about miles and all that crap.
I thought you were a pretty big Taycan fan too, right, Christian?
Yeah. I think it's a beautiful car. It's a beautiful car.
I
Jeff,
think it is
trying
too.
to get me in trouble again.
No, I think it's a good looking car too.
It's a beautiful car. The range is terrible, but if you don't need to, or you can get around and manage it, then you might just say, you know what? I want it. I love the look of it. I'm a Porsche lover, and it's a great car, right?
And you have another $70,000 to throw away. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They'll never scale it to anything major, but you'll get that niche buyer that buys 911s, the gas one, because they got it over Porsche.
Yeah.
And margins. Yeah.